at this time, and this second time I worked with this horse, she was essentially could self-load past the person. That's how much she wanted to get in the trailer and how relaxed she felt in that space. 15 minutes. Okay. If you can start that way. My problem is a lot of times I get horses like we saw Barbara's horse on one of these videos where we saw what happens when you force a big horse try to force a horse into a trailer. And that's the method that had been used on him for his whole life. Now he has probably a decade of muscle memory about how people got him in the trailer and how stressful it was. We had to chip away the layers of that. That took me 2.5 hours the first time to help him chip away that all of that garbage that was put on him with the flag and the force and the men picking him up and putting him in there. It took me 2.5 hours. And that horse was shaking. He was so scared about getting in a trailer. Who did that to him? Who never cared about his mental and emotional state? And guess what? Because they didn't care, it was a problem after that every single time, right? Instead of like this horse is probably going to go, I love trailer. It's great. It's no big deal. It's just part of life. All right, this is Ruby. She's a 2-year-old quarter horse. Okay, this is the start of the games that we play. The horse has to be able to come to the person with their back to it. You see, she's not cueing him. She's going to cue her to come, and she's going to have a picture that she shows up by her side. See her? Okay. See the horse licking and chewing, right? Here's maybe the second time. I don't think I did the first time she was getting in the trailer. This is how she gets in a trailer. Doesn't want to leave. Then it's so funny. The owner is going, "Can I pet her now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can pet her. You can pet her." But did you see any tension in that horse whatsoever? No pullback. Nothing. 15 minutes. So the first time she went to get out, she was a little more hesitant, but we let her figure it out. We just stayed outside. She figured it out. That's my goal with every horse is that you could see that mare stay connected. She stayed relaxed. She was happy to follow directions and get in the trailer. No arguments. And this mare was, like I said, the first time I met her, a session before that was going to rip my head off. I'm serious. The lady was standing there going, I thought she was going to kill you. It's like, yeah. So that was the result of all the force kind of training, okay, that this mare had had. There's some horses that will succumb to the force. This particular mare is one that says, no, I'm not going to check out. I'm going to fight. If you get that horse, you better think another way of like how you're going to get that because it's going to be a battle every time you're with that horse if you don't figure out a different way to do it. And what we did was we worked in a way that I showed this mare what she had to do. Her first thing with everything you show her is like, oh, I can't do it. And she gets kind of dramatic. And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure you can do it. I just don't buy into a lot of the stuff that she was doing. But this mayor is also a perfectionist. and was afraid to fail at something. And I had to work around that. Okay. Again, I'm going to set the horse up for success by teaching him the skill set she needs to get in a trailer. And one of those skill sets was the first one that you saw in that video. Could I stand with my back to my horse and put the very slightest bit of contact on that rope, and that horse comes to my whichever side I imagined. I just picture my horse showing up on this side or this side, whichever it is. And I'm teaching the horse to listen to my mental picture and check in with me. And all the rope is just a little bit of contact at first, is to say, check in with that person's mental imagery and follow directions. And that that happened. That was only the second time I've ever worked with that mare. So that happened within 2 sessions, and we only worked with her a short time each time. That's how quickly that horse became soft and followed directions. And the same thing is going through when I want the horse to get in a trailer. I'm going to direct my energy to where they're supposed to go and then say, okay, walk on in my mind. And they're used to going, oh yeah, okay, I'll do that. So again, we went from a horse that said no in a very, very large and loud way to, okay, whatever. And then that's where we get to, do you want that? Or do you want the fight? Some people choose in their relational style that they have as a person, they like conflict and they create conflict and drama. And so they want conflict and drama with their horses. I can't, they are the only ones that can change that. I happen to, after many, many years working on relationships, I want a different type of relationship.